Hi, I'm Kathleen Lonergan. I am currently a committee administrator at the Minnesota Legislature for the Minnesota Senate. I work with State Senator Don Betzold and also with the State Government Budget Division. Today I'm interested in having a conversation with Ann Treacy regarding broadband and how broadband plays a role in the state and also in municipal and local governments, as well as how it affects people's individual lives and citizens throughout the state of Minnesota. So Ann, I'll let you start.
Okay. Kathleen, what policies might we consider at the state level to support service delivery at the local and municipal level?
Sure. Some of the services or some of the legislation that we should be looking at pursuing is some government reform issues. A year ago, I worked with several other people in the from the Sunlight Foundation, also with Common Cause, and some other citizen organizations, as well as some of the data architects who work for the state of Minnesota, on trying to propose legislation to put data standards in so that when citizens go access the internet for the state of Minnesota, or researchers or interest groups who want to find out information on how children are doing in school and possibly looking at how obesity rates or even how diabetes is playing a role in children's lives and their academic lives, so that we can have a standard format put together for information so that we are able to take information on children's health and also children's academic rates and see if there's a correlation. Currently, it's very difficult to find out information on how children are doing how there's a correlation, because data is currently put in silo formats, so the data is not in the same format, and without information or state public data being put on the same platform with metadata standards, people can't necessarily read the data. Another example would be the state budget and being able to see how much money does the state spend in different areas. How much money are our state workers, and looking at which workers are more expensive and which workers aren't as expensive, and also be able to correlate that with contracts that the state has with different companies that we also send work to. And is it cheaper for us to be spending money on our state workforce, or is it cheaper for the state to be looking at some of these outside contracts? Maybe our current employees can do the same work at a much lower rate, but it's hard to see how that data, if that data makes sense, and if there is if we have an ability right now to be able to chart the information. So through the charts and being able to do some proper analysis. It's very difficult to have any analysis right now of state data due to the fact that so much of the data is in different formats that it can't be analyzed properly to find out where savings can occur.
Kathleen, in the past we've talked a little bit amongst ourselves about kind of open access to that data and what a difference that would make. Could you talk a little bit about that?
By having open access, then people can be able to see the data in no matter what type of system that they may have. If they have a Mac computer, or they have a Windows type system, or if they want to have an application on a cell phone. And the state currently doesn't have too many apps that they can use for cell phone usage, and if the format that we had our data in current would be open or standardized so that we could create apps for cell phones or for iPhones or for the laptops or the latest technology that is being created by outside sources. Also, open source information allows private vendors to be able to create their own systems, and so if our data or our information is provided in an open source, open standard type of format, anyone can create it. The market could go, and people throughout the whole country could start taking our data and using it in multiple different ways and creating businesses just by using our data and being able to do research on their own, be able to provide suggestions for for the state on things that we should do without having the state have to be paying for that themselves. This would also be a way for us to maybe look at saving some money in a time when the budget deficits are so high.
And how does broadband fit into this?
One of the things that broadband provides, and also with the new federal government grants that's coming to the state of Minnesota, is the ability then for local governments to be able to take the broadband, be able to provide the access and information then in a much faster format than they are currently able to do. Because if a small township or community in rural Minnesota only has dial-up, they can only provide so much information. With broadband now, they'll be able to use a lot more government 2.0 services, as well as social media. They can be able to use YouTube and Facebook, and be able to have dialogues with their citizens in a way that citizens can also communicate better with their governments. Because if the local community is able to have broadband, then the citizens in that community will also start to be able to purchase that higher speed bandwidth and be able to have faster internet. So it will give them the opportunity to be able to participate in city council meetings if they can't be there, because the city council meeting may be online now. They may be able to participate in a local community discussion on their parks, because they can see it on the internet and be able to instantly tweet into the discussion and be able to provide email questions or questions instantaneously through an instant messaging system. So it provides citizens as well as businesses, community organizations, special interests with much better access to what's going on in their local government, in their community.
Great. So it sounds like standards would improve access to information, and then broadband would in turn increase access to that to the data.
It would.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank Ann Treacy today for putting this together, and I look forward to working with Ann and people in the broadband community in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.